Hello there. This video I'm going to show you how you can make an any curve triple ring using Blender-FluidDesigner for 3D printing. So if we start the application up, the application template, if you go to Object Library, I'm going to create a ring. Now my system runs a bit slow loading all of these objects, loading the graphics, but basically I'm just scrolling down and I'm going to look for a UK size ring, and I'll just let it load up so you can see what's happening. So I'm using UK size P plus is the ring I'm going to choose, and click OK, and click outside the box to center it. Now if we look at that, it's got a bevel object of 1.5. That's actually a NURBS circle, so if I remove the bevel object that will disappear. And what I'm going to do is go to 3D templates cross-section bevel objects, and there are some special cross-sections specifically for bracelets and rings, and I'm going to select the rectangular one for the ring and click OK, and again I'm going to click outside the box, so that just puts that Bezier NURBS curve in the middle of the screen, and that one's got dimensions of 1 by 1. So if I just select my circle and select bevel object ring cross-section rectangular, it will set it to be 1 by 1. And if I select the bevel object in the middle, if I change the X dimension, you can see that all the weight is going outside the ring, and that's really important. You don't want to change the inner dimension from UKP+. So I'm going to set that at 1.5 millimeters. And if I go view and right view now, what I want to do is to make my other two rings. So I'm going to go to Tools, Object Tools, and duplicate this object and press Enter. And if I set an angle of 6 degrees there, I find 6 is about right. I mean, it's going to depend on the size of the ring, and just move that ring up. Select the center ring again and go to Tools, Object Tools, and duplicate. And we'll do -6 this time because we want a ring going down, and just zoom in. Okay, so we've got the ring overlapping at the bottom there. So if we go to view and top view, so there's our 3 rings, and don't worry, this will 3D print, I can assure you, because these are parametric smart objects. Right, now what we want to do is to add some kind of pattern at the top and some kind of gem. And so I'm going to use an Eniper pattern. So what we do is we go to Add Object, go to Curves. Now you do need to load these objects. You can download them from our website. So I'm going to use an Eniper curve. And whoops, I've lost it. Yep. So I'm going to set that first parameter down to 90. I'm going to set that to 3 by 4, so I've got 4 leaves there. You must make sure that the rounds is set to 1. That's kind of the crucial setting there. And I'm just going to increase the scale, because what that does is give me some space in the center of the gem, and I'll type 2.5, sorry, in the center of the pattern, so that I can put a gem in there. Okay, now I want to put that at the top, so I'm going to rotate it about at the x-axis -90. And I'm just going to apply that rotation as well, and I'm going to move this up and position it. Now I'm just going to do Control A and apply the location now, putting it back at the center, and I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. It's a bit too big. Control A and apply the scale, and put it back up there. Control A and apply the location. Okay, so I've positioned my gem there. Now if I want to change the cross section of this, I can go to Object Library and 3D templates cross sections. Now because this is not the ring shank, I don't need to use these special ones for rings, so I'm going to use this cross section rectangular bevel object here, and again just place it in the middle of the screen, so it's that object which is 1 by 1. And so if I open up my properties panel, my panel at the top, I can set it to be this new bevel object. And if I just zoom in and select that bevel object, I could change this to perhaps 1.5 millimeters, and 2 millimeters. It just depends what you want. So you can see that that's changed the thickness of the object at the top of the ring there, the pattern at the top. And if I go to view and top now you've got to make some, view and top, and you've got to make sure that this is sitting above the bottom of the shank there, and it does. Now you can mess around with that, you can choose lots of different patterns there, and what you can also do, what I've done if you look back here, is I've put a gem, but a silver gem at the top of this. And so we can do that if you've got dual craft on your system. I'm going to use a cushion gem. I'm just going to change it to emerald because it'll change the colour, and add gem, and I'm going to set it at 5 millimeters. I might have to change it in a second, and rotate it about the x-axis -90, and just move it up and position it there. That's a little bit too big, so I'll just switch off the snap, and if I just scale it, what you want to make sure is that it does overlap with the curves. And although that is a mesh and the other objects are curves, I can assure you that when you go to File and export it as an OBJ, provided you run it through NetFab Basic, NetFab will sort all that out for you, fix what's going on at the bottom of the ring, and that will be 3D printable. And as you can see on the right here, I did actually print it on my Wahoo D7, and the ring, which is third from the left there, has got some polymer clay in it. That's the blue bit, so you can do that. It's not really advisable to print this on an FDM printer. So that's how you can make that ring. Thank you.